The aspect of environmental designing is quite new, if I would say.
Yeah.
How long has this been assimilated into the curriculum of studies, especially in schools right now?
Actually, it's not a new field. It's taught in school.
Yes.
Literally from first year, all architects are taught environmental design.
Okay.
Because that's how you build. You build a house so that the users in the space are able to enjoy daylight without switching on the light. It's also very good for their psychological well-being.
Yeah.
You build a building to ensure that it's well ventilated, to allow for natural cooling and the indoor air quality, so you don't have effluents that are, stuck in the building.
Yes.
But what has happened is that over time, people have stopped building in that specific way in which we are taught in school.
Okay.
One, because of change in materials. We are hastening the way in which we are building. We also, many people are building without architects. So you end up finding a lot of buildings in Nairobi have got what you call the sick building syndrome, where there's no daylight.
The sick building syndrome?
Yeah, kids are getting, lacking vitamin D.
Oh.
And so they develop, diseases based on that. And so environmental design is just, focusing specifically on that an architect would create spaces and then I'd come in and look at the environmental aspects specifically to ensure that they've actually met those aspects of architecture that ensure that a building is sustainable and it's built to ensure that the users are actually comfortable using it. But at the same time, ensuring that that particular building does not affect the environment in which it's located. Remember, like for instance, Nairobi now has become a concrete jungle.
Yes, it is.
Completely.
Yeah.
But beyond concrete, we also have a lot of glass in the buildings. Now, glass, say for instance, has two effects. It creates what you call a greenhouse effect internally. That's why you find a lot of buildings are very hot internally, but at the same time, it reflects heat to the outside. And so we are creating what we call urban heat islands. Nairobi is generally, hotter than it was for a long time. Why? Because of that kind of glass.
We noticed that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the field in which I practice, so that we're able to mitigate those issues as we move along in terms of the kind of materials that we select for the buildings that we are designing.
Yeah.
And how we design internally, but also spatially, and how our buildings affect the surrounding in which it sits at the end of the day. So it's not really new. Let's just say we had not focused on it before, and now we're beginning to focus on it because as the world has continued to get involved in the climate change crisis, then we are beginning to see architects who need to focus on those areas specifically.